It's time, people. Match day 1 predictions of this year's World Cup. Every 4 years, we wait for the moment when the first round of group stage matches occur. And as we all know, when it comes to the World Cup and any international competition, match day 1 is vital to get points on the board and feel a little bit more secure and positive with the way you are playing. So, people, hit the like button. The target today is 100 likes. If I don't see 100 likes, you're all getting sacked in the morning. All sacked. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Give your predictions in the comment section down below. And let's get to the predictions of match day numero uno. First matchup, of course, it's the hosts Qatar. Their first ever World Cup match against Ecuador. We're not going to be too long with each match, people, because there is 16 games. So about a minute or a minute and a half. But anyways, Qatar versus Ecuador, a very interesting matchup tactically because Qatar have been playing a 5 in the back formation. It doesn't really suit them. The 4-3-3 that they used at the Asian Cup when they won it in 2019 was effective. But this 5 in the back, it's not really there. And then for Ecuador, look, their form has been decent since the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers ended. We know that they're going to keep a clean sheet. We know that the midfield is going to control possession. It's just about scoring goals for Ecuador. And it's going to be interesting to see the momentum of the hosting the first game and how will Ecuador respond with the young squad that they have. Really fascinating matchup. My prediction, I'm going to go for their similar scoreline to what the hosts had in 2010, which was, of course, South Africa. I'm going to go 1-1 between Qatar and Ecuador. The next matchup's Monday, the 21st of November, and the first game on that day, it is England taking on Iran. We know this is not going to be a most exciting matchup. Shall we just say that? England, a lot of question marks on how will Gareth Southgate set up? Will he set up in a 4? Or will he set up in a usual 5 in the back? Who will be playing right wing back? That is going to be interesting to see with Gareth Southgate. Also, who will be the 3 center backs? Because we know Harry Maguire is going to be one of them. It's just about who's going to be on either side of him. And then for Iran, we're going to have to see about the health of Osman because he still is not playing with Bayer Leverkusen. So Taremi is going to have a huge matchup. And we know with Queiroz ball, Queiroz, defensive, do not concede. But when you have the ball, be effective with it. And I think Iran are going to be very competitive in this game. And England are just going to have to grind out a result. And I'm going, because of that, a 1-0 victory for England. It's not going to be pretty. It could be late, like in the last 10 minutes. But 1-0 for England. Next matchup, it is Senegal taking on the Netherlands. And obviously, the devastating news for Sadio Mane, it is devastating, and he has been selected, but my guess would be he would play either the third group stage matchup, or if they make it to the round of 16, he would play there. He's not going to play in the first 2 games, so how will Senegal react with their leader gone, their talisman, and everything about this Senegalese side that we love? How will they react? And then for the Netherlands, it's just about, okay, we got to get this momentum going. We got the key players. Memphis Depay probably won't play in this matchup, so I'm looking at Luke de Jong, Cody Gakpo, and these sort of guys. You need to step up in spite of his absence. Also, Steven Bergwijn, who's actually very good with the Dutch national team. I just think now with Sadio Mane gone, I think this is a huge favor for the Netherlands in this matchup, and I'm going to go 2-0 for the Netherlands. Then it's Greg Vibes Berhalter time. The USA against Wales. A big game in Group B. A big game, as we know, because this group is going to be very competitive. And I am worried as an American because Wales are exactly the team I do not want this young side to play against in the first game. Yes, it might be Wales' first game in a long time at a World Cup, and it's going to be huge emotions for both the players and the fans, but they are used to these sort of international competitions. They've been in 2 Euros. Obviously, they didn't make it to the World Cup 2018, but this squad is experienced with Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, and these sort of players. We'll have to see about Ramsey because he still is not healthy either. And if they don't have him in the midfield, that's a massive advantage for the USA. Can win the battle in the midfield. I think that's where the USA could definitely win this game. They have to take advantage of that. But defensively, I am worried with this US team. There is no cohesion. The 2 center backs are probably going to be new Unless Greg just says, F it. Let's go with vibes and say Aaron Long and Walker Zimmerman. And if that happens against either Brennan Johnson, Kiefer Moore, or Gareth Bale, it's going to be a long day for the US center backs. And I just think this is a really competitive game. And it could go either way. It could be a draw. It could be a Wales win. It could be a USA win. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with a Wales win. I think Wales, they're going to grasp the moment. And we know who's going to grasp the moment. Mr. Clutch, Gareth Bale. 2-1 for Wales is my prediction. Following matches on 22nd of November on the Tuesday. First off, it is Argentina taking on Saudi Arabia. Now, obviously, on paper, this game is going to be a mismatch. Argentina, who have been undefeated for a gazillion years. Saudi Arabia, who are competitive, but lacking a real goal scorer. And that is going to be the big issue for Saudi Arabia in this game. When they have the ball, you got to be effective. But we know with Hervé Renard, he's going to make life difficult for this Argentinian side. And it's just about, Messi, Lautaro, Enzo, or whoever plays in the midfield for Argentina. Just got to be patient. Saudi Arabia are going to set up in a deep low block. So, patience. But once they get that first goal, I think the floodgates will open. And I'm going to go with an Argentinian routine win, 3-0 for Argentina. Next up, Denmark taking on Tunisia. I would see a similar situation between Argentina and Saudi Arabia for this game as well. As in a way that Tunisia know, okay, we're not going to go fire with Denmark. We're going to set up. We're going to make it difficult. And when we have the ball as well, be effective. And Tunisia have shown that in a couple of friendlies this year that when they have the ball, and when they actually just set up defensively, very hard to break down. Ask Mali, ask Japan, and ask Chile. Like, Tunisia are tough not to crack. And that's why I really appreciate this team. And for Denmark, it's just as well. You got the individual talent. You got to just keep patience. And once you get that goal, go for a second one. But I think Tunisia are actually going to take the lead in this game. And then Denmark are going to claw back, and eventually get the winner. I'm going to go with Denmark to win 2-1 in this matchup. Big one. In Group C, Mexico taking on Poland, and basically whoever wins this game is going to finish second in the group, in my opinion. Just my humble opinion. So, what's going to happen? You try and tell me, people, what's going to happen between Mexico and Poland? This might be the most fascinating matchup in Matchday 1 because you just flip a coin. You see this coin, people? Flip it. And just say, whatever it lands, either Mexico or Poland. Because I have absolutely zero clue. Mexico are coming into this game low of confidence. But we have seen that in the past when it comes to past World Cups. Team doesn't look good, but when they show up to the World Cup, flying. And for Poland, I'm just a bit worried with the defense. And possibly the midfield. Yes, Zielinski is having a fantastic season with Napoli. But when he plays for Poland, he doesn't have that same impact. Like, Lewandowski has the same impact no matter where he plays at, but Zielinski's got to step up his performances. I'm just worried defensively when it comes to Poland, but I'm also worried for Mexico. Because whether it's Hector Moreno, Araujo, how are they going to handle Lewandowski? Like, Mexico are going to concede, I think Poland will concede, and it's just a matter of who outscores each other. I think that's how this game is going to go. I'm going to go for a high-scoring draw, though, just to make it a little bit intense in this group. But I'm going to go 2-2 is my final scoreline because Chucky Lozano is on fire, and Lewandowski, I think he will get a goal. Rematch time in Group D. France versus Australia. Obviously, the matchup in 2018 finished for a 2-1 win for France. Are we going to get a similar thing where France might not look the glorious or spine-tingling where you get like, oh my god, this team is going to win the World Cup? I don't think you're going to get that feeling with this team. But Australia are going to make life difficult, and it's going to be interesting to see how Graham Arnold, what his starting 11 is going to be, because I don't really know. I think it's going to be a very difficult matchup for France. Australia are going to make life difficult, and when they have the ball, which might not happen a lot with possession-wise, be effective with it. So I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 win for France. Following matches, November 23rd, the Wednesday. This is going to be a big day. First matchup, it is Morocco taking on Croatia in Group F, and I cannot wait for this matchup. How will Morocco, with their fantastic individual talent, go up against Croatia, who have looked very promising in the Nations League, better defensively, but still worried about their striker? And I'm just fascinated because you just don't know. This game could be like a 50-50 sort of possession where Croatia, I think, will dominate in the midfield. But with the way the fullbacks from Morocco just push forward, how will Croatia counteract that? And that's what makes this game so fascinating. And like, yes, on paper, Croatia will be the favorites, but I think Morocco are going to give a very tough game to Croatia. Very tough game. And my prediction is a 1-1 draw between the two teams. Now time for maybe an upset. Germany taking on Japan. I am a little bit kind of favoring Japan a little bit in this game because I think, yes, Germany are going to be a very good team. Very interested to see how maybe, Hansi Flick will start with this lineup? Is he going to have like Kai Havertz at the false nine because now Timo Werner is injured? Very interesting decisions to see with Hansi Flick. And also, a lot of these Japanese players do play in the Bundesliga, so they are familiar with these opponents, and that might favor them. And we have seen Japan, okay, they don't need a lot of possession of the ball against, other teams in Europe, basically, or against America, for example. But when they have the ball, quick counterattacks. And I think that's one way to defeat this German team. I'm expecting a very high-scoring game here. I think it's going to be very open. A lot of great individual plays that we could see in this game, and I'm excited. So my prediction is a 3-2 win for Germany. I think it's going to be a narrow win, but Japan will fight hard. No doubt about it, but Germany to win 3-2. And the other matchup in Group E, Spain taking on Costa Rica. Well, there's only one way to describe this game. Possession. This is going to be like 80% possession for Spain and then 20% for Costa Rica. And with the 20% Costa Rica have, you just got to be effective with it. Because we know Spain are just going to press, keep possession, and Costa Rica will be like, all right, we just chill here. You try and break us down. Let's see what happens. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. I could see it being very boring, where Costa Rica are just like, you know what, let's just play for the draw here. And that's good enough for us. So I'm going to go for a very narrow win here for Spain, 1-0. It ain't going to be pretty, but they'll get the job done. And the final matchup on November 23rd, Belgium taking on the return of Canada to the World Cup. Could we see another upset in this game? This is an upset brewing here. We know Belgium, Lukaku might not play this game. I don't think he will be fit enough. And KDB, great. Hazard, what sort of form is Eden Hazard going to be in this matchup? And what is going to be the three center-back pairing for Belgium? Is it still going to be Vertonghen and Alderweireld? If that is the case, Jonathan David is going to eat them up. And if Davis can just get healthy, I think they can pose a massive threat to this Belgian team, who don't look convincing defensively. But of course, the midfield and attack is brilliant for Belgium. There's no debating that, but just the defense really does worry me. And we know John Herman sets up his team very well and organized, and they just know their roles. So Belgium got to be careful in this game. You know what? 2-2 draw. Canada have never scored a goal at the World Cup. That will change when they play against Belgium. Belgium, not convinced by them, but they should be winning this game. But I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. And the final four matches that will be played on November 24th. The first game, it is Switzerland taking on Cameroon. And yes, Cameroon, who haven't prepared for this World Cup the great. Losing to Uzbekistan, for example, they have a lot of good individual talent, like Onana, Anguissa, Vincent Aboubakar, Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting has to start this game because he has been on fire for Bayern Munich. And I do like Cameroon. Rigobert Song is a good manager, but Switzerland are just such an organized team. They know they're not going to concede a lot of goals. Let's see if Jan Sommer gets to start, because he has been injured. So if he doesn't start, that could be a little bit of a worry and maybe a little bit of advantage to Cameroon. But I expect Switzerland to win this game. I'm going to go 2-0 win for Switzerland. Next up, it is Uruguay taking on South Korea. Araujo is going to play? I am shocked that Araujo, of course, of Barcelona, will be playing for Uruguay. Now, do I expect him to play the first game? Maybe not. Maybe they'll play for the last 20 minutes or something like that. But Uruguay just are a very good team. And they don't need to play the most sexiest football. They just need to play the football that gets them the results. And for South Korea, we're going to have to just see the health of Son. If Son doesn't play, I don't really give this team a whole lot of chances. But they have probably the best center back in the Serie A on their team in Kim Min-jae. So they will not concede a lot of goals. And Paulo Bento understands that, okay, we just don't need to concede a lot. We get that one goal, it's going to be enough for South Korea. But I'm going to go for a narrow win here for Uruguay, 1-0. You know who the goal scorer is going to be? Darwin Núñez. In Group H as well, Portugal taking on Ghana. Also a very mysterious game, because you don't know how Ghana are going to set up, as in personnel, as in tactics, as in what will they do? How will they attack Portugal? And Portugal, Fernando Santos, Danilo, Ruben Diaz, center backs, William Carvalho, Ruben Neves as the two CDMs. It's easy to tell what Fernando Santos is going to do. But at least in this game, I expect Portugal to dominate possession. I expect them to create the chances, and I expect them, okay, we understand that Ghana, a lot of new players, but we can counteract that and just dominate the game. But I'm really interested to see how Ghana are going to play. With Inaki Williams, for example, Kudus and Thomas Partey. I think Thomas Partey can have a really good game in this matchup. But I'm going to go for a narrow win here for Portugal. And it's going to be pretty 2-1 for Portugal. And the final match of match day 1. And probably the biggest one. It is Brazil taking on Serbia. Brazil, we know, fantastic. On form. Nothing stopping this team. Interested just to see how Tite will set up with the fullbacks. Will Dani Alves start, for example? And also, who will play at the number 10 role and who will be striker? I could see like Neymar being at the 10, Vinicius left, Rapinha right side, and then I think either Richarlison or Gabriel Jesus as the striker. So, I don't think Brazil should be too worried in this game, but Serbia do pose a threat. And Serbia have those two strikers, Mitrovic and Vlahovic. And with Tadic and Milinkovic-Savic, if they can just get on the counterattack, especially because Mitrovic and Vlahovic are actually very quick counterattacking players. So that's something that Brazil have to be worried about. And this is something that Serbia can exploit, is the fullbacks. Because we know Brazil are not the strongest in those positions. So if Serbia can just exploit that, they might have a chance of winning this game. But Serbia's defense isn't the strongest. And yes, they did well against Sweden, Norway, who won't be at the World Cup. This is Brazil, a team that are on fire, and I'm really fascinated. And this is why I'm saying this is going to be a very high quality game. But I'm going to go for a Brazil win here. I'm going to go 3-1. It's going to be 2-1 until like the 85th minute, and Brazil will just get a late third goal to kill off the game. 3-1 for Brazil. There we have it, people. Match day 1 predictions are done. And of course, remember, we will be having a lot of reactions, live reactions to most of the World Cup games. So stay tuned for that on the channel. This is the place to be. Remember, also on Friday, we will be having a live preview. Have like almost 9 people on the panel. So stay tuned for that on the channel. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe and adios.